pledging everything. Which is why we always talk about the Declaration of Independence. Watch National Treasure. The first 5 minutes. You ain't got to watch the rest. Watch the first 5 minutes. It tells you everything. The Declaration of Independence. This is when we got our independence from Great Britain and we had this big war. They ain't tell you who the hell they got, who granted them that independence and who assisted them. They don't talk about that.
Right.
Because to talk about that is to admit that they ain't Negro, colored, and black. Can't say that you got to sit here and keep up with the fraud. So, do you really have independence? Did you really declare it? And are you really free? No.
Still.
C. A contract must be produced in manifested writing. Oh, we did that one? No, I didn't. No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
C, B was, it has to be producible. C says a contract must be produced in manifested writing, evidence, and contain the details of the agreement, the debts, or promises, with all the terms, the obligations, and the conditions which clearly show and serve as proof that a valid and enforceable obligation, promise, or debt exists. Doesn't that make sense? If you want to sit here and hold me to something, especially if you want to try to hold me to a driver's license, contract, you have to be able to produce the contract that I signed, stating that I gave up all my rights for a privilege to travel on my own road. Can they produce that?
No.
Why?
Because it never existed.
Okay, I'm just going to continue. D. A contract must be a deliberate and conscious agreement made between competent parties. It has to be deliberate and a conscious agreement. So you got to know what the hell you're signing.
Right.
Not only do you have to know what you're signing, you have to be competent in order to understand what it is you're signing. So you got to know what you're signing and be competent in doing that act. So if you're signing a so-called driver's license contract and you read it and you don't freaking understand it, but yet you're still signing over your rights for a privilege, are you competent?
No.
Because who in their right mind would do it? If you read the darn, what do you call it? If you read the introduction to Title 49, which is the U.S. Title 49 for transportation, it says what? I'm gonna tell you real quick. It says it's for commercial. Commercial.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that?
Yes, I guess.
And then that equates to Title 75 of the so-called PA. And can the PA so-called title differentiate from the U.S. 49?
No.
Why?
Because the U.S. supersedes the state.
How? Where does it say that in the contract?
I'm not saying, but that's
It does.
One is fair.
Isn't it? Article 6. Read Article 6. Of Constitution. Anything in the state, anything within the state's Constitution that go against the United States Constitution is what?
It's notwithstanding.
Notwithstanding.
Right. Notwithstanding.
It also says it in the Bill of Rights. Under what? 8 and 9. Want to read that too?
People need to start with Article 6.
Huh? Start with Article 6 and inflect, or if you want to come up, read it.
I read.
Inflect.
Article 6 of the United States for America.
of the Constitution for the United States of America?
For the United States for America.
What does it say?
It says, all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as a confederation. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding.
It's long.
Right?
Now read Amendment 9 and 10, I think it is.
Okay. 9 and 10. Okay. It says Amendment 9, 1791. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Amendment 10, 1791. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people.
And what states they talking about? Who the people?
We the people.
Who the state?
Colonies.
What is a state?
No, we are the state.
They call themselves states.
That's a hypothetication.
We're the state.
They're a corporate state. And what's a corporate state? What's a corporate
It's
state?
a corporation acting in accordance with.
Does anybody know the definition of state? Definition of state? Because the acts of state, I want to read the acts of state document too.
A people permanently occupying a fixed territory bound together by common law, habits and customs into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government, independent sovereignty and control.
Independent sovereignty. Go ahead.
Control over all persons and things within its boundaries, capable of making war and peace and of entering into international relationships with other communities of the globe.
What did she just say? People. She said a lot of more than that.
And then it's sovereignty.
So, do Albion's have states?
No.
They have corporate states, which are what?
There are, let's see, political
Fictitious.
structures and a form of corporatism closely related to fascism, who inherits the whole, the corporate group, which is the basis of society, is a state. That's for them.
It's a corporate state, right?
That's
That's
corporate.
mimicking.
That charges fees.
That's mimicking your actual state.
Right.
They're trying to claim sovereignty and the ability to have a state. They don't have a state. They don't have sovereignty. In order for them to even have anything established here, who the hell got to establish it? Right. We have to say, this is what we want you to do. This is what we're going to give you through a mutual contract. Ain't that the contract for the United States of America? We only gave them the ability to establish commerce. And we gave them a contract on the parameters for which to do that. That's what the Constitution is. That's what the damn treaty is. That's what the damn Declaration of Independence. So they don't have states outside of us. And those states is corporate. Because why would we give them sovereignty? We would never do that. Because we can't. Why? Because our inheritance is unalienable and inalienable. We can't give them anything.
Well, you know something? You're right.
It's reserved for your heirs.
I have a certified copy of the, what is that called? The land grant to William Penn. And it lays out that he was just getting business from King Charles. King Charles was
Where King Charles at?
Brute Moor.
He's what?
A British Moor.
Yeah. Morocco spanned pretty much most of the planet Earth.
Yeah, a party to a contract cannot be a minor. Read the definition of what a minor is.
You're looking at me too.
Minor is an adult that thinks like a child.
Minor is definitely less.
Minor.
Not competent.
Not competent. That shows. Can a minor? That's just like there's a bunch of adults running around 50, 60, 70, 85, running around like minors.
And obviously that's major.
Is that true? Because they don't have competency to establish contracts, but yet they think they be doing contract law all day. You got which one? Minor?
Okay, minor. Infant or person who is under the age of legal competency.
I was right.
Under 21, a person under a certain age has less than 25 years of age.
What you got?
I was right. I said it. It's the first thing for minor here is lesser or smaller in amount, extent or size, lesser in importance, rank or stature, lesser in seriousness. It says law being under legal age, not yet legal adult, but I was immediately it said lesser to me.
Okay.
So not important, not.
A contract
Not
must.
preeminent.
Here's a good one. That's a good one. F. A contract must be entered by free will.
Got it. Yeah.
So,
Right.
if a contract must be
You
entered
can't be
by,
coerced.
yeah. And aren't most of these contracts coerced? So,
Yes.
like, if you're in a
Most of them.
POW and they like, we ain't letting you out until you sign this.
Yes, they are.
Ain't that
Yes, they
under
are.
threat, duress,
Yes, they are.
coercion? Which is why we say that. So the so-called contract that they are trying to force upon you to free you of your liberty is not binding because it's not entered into by free will. And I think we forgot that one.
Now,
So when they say here, when you're at a so-called stop on your roads and they say you got to sign this, why do you think we do threat, duress, or coercion? Because I'm only signing this because you're threatening bodily harm to me. Because you won't let me leave, so you're obstructing and you're detaining me unlawfully to sign a document, which is a contract. What you was about to say?
no.
A contract must not be created. A contract must not be created under threat, duress, or coercion, lest it be void in law. So that's why if you ever get into a situation and somebody wants to coerce a contract on you, sign it allodially in your appellation, all rights reserved under threat, duress, coercion.
Oh wow.
That's why you do this. So nothing you are signing can be enforceable upon you because you're doing it not by free will, by threat, duress, or coercion.
And you're doing it in your was it corporal persona?
It's from-
You know what I was
I used to do the same. I'm like, how you say that word? your impropria persona, proper person in one's own right. A contract must be substantive and germane to the subject matter. That's a good one. Has to be relative.
relevant.
Good job. A contract must be of legal consideration. It cannot be based on an unlawful consideration. What's an unlawful consideration?
It sounds like all of it.
Everything, right? Which is why they don't want this. Which is why they don't teach you none of this. Because if you remember in school when they taught you contract law, they had like one little paragraph, and it talked about a contract between two parties, and I think that was the most
That
they
was
said.
it.
And it might have said you can't be under 18.
Yeah.
Wasn't it missing
You
some?
say that.
Wasn't it missing some things?
Yeah.
Missing much.
When they took civics out of schools.
They took a lot out of schools. Yes, Islam.
Liberal arts.
But you gotta go back to the reason why colonialism created school anyway, and it wasn't
To hypothecate
To be
and
free
keep you
at all.
under their thumb. Yes, contracts must possess mutual of agreement and mutual of obligation. Mutual of agreement, so we both got to agree, and we both got to have an obligation. So if the obligation for a so-called promissory note, or even a traffic, or even when you go into a tribunal, we got to have mutual consideration. Meaning, I'm signing up. You got to show me the so-called bond or the so-called contract that you think is me, for me to examine it and for me to rebut point for point. So produce it for the record. If you can't produce it for the record, you gotta set me free because you've proven you don't have jurisdiction because it's all in the evidence in the written agreement.
Right.
So they have to state before you bring stuff in the court.
Huh?
They have to show all the evidence and stuff before you bring stuff.
Right. And what are some of the things more should do before they make their little special appearances to clear the matter? Or to clear the misidentification?
So you have to deal with jurisdiction first?
You gotta sit here and put some documents on the record. Those three documents are what? Affidavit of fact, writ of discovery, which is going to include your documentation for nationality. It's going to include all that.
There's 2 things or 3?
The second one is affirmative of jurisdiction quo warranto, where you're challenging jurisdiction.
That's what I was talking about.
And the third is affidavit of fact, notice of default, because you can't prove any of that.
Got it. Got it.
You're not going to produce the documentation for discovery for me to rebut it. You don't have jurisdiction So you're not going to produce that. So do it all at one time because you go and do the default. Okay, we default. You have to set free because you don't have jurisdiction over me.
Right.
And I produce everything for the public record to let you know that. That's why the liens are so important because they're violating. So you're shutting them down.
So, is there a way that you could argue with them in reference to your signing of a contract? Because, like on your driver's license, your name is.
First of all, you don't have one.
Well, all right.
It's not a contract.
That piece of paper that has your name on it.
That doesn't have your name on
No, I
it.
know it doesn't. It has your straw
Corporate
name.
It doesn't have anything that belongs to you on there.
Okay. So, can you argue in your behalf, exclusive of that particular information, as an independent person?
As a Moorish American national?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
They got to produce it for the record.
All right, but now suppose I was
You're
not.
right. What's it say?
Wet ink signature.
Oh, wait a minute. You just got to hit the
Never
back
happened.
button. The back button. No, the back button. Yes. Yeah. They messing.
Suppose I had not changed my nationality.
You declared it?
Yes.
Your award. You're salvageable.
So I couldn't.
So you're saying we have no recourse?
I couldn't argue on my own behalf.
You could try, but you would be submitting yourself to the mercy of that tribunal. So if he's having a good day or she's having a good day, they might say, because you articulate yourself appropriately, they might let you go. But if they need a quota that day, they might not. So you're submitting yourself to the will. Yes. You can go in there and fight it. Many people do. They fight under so-called law, so-called constitution, even though they ain't party to it. Or hold them to the so-called those corporate contracts, which is the constitution for whatever corporate state you domicile in, or you submitting yourself to.
Okay.
Because under the nom de guerre, the war name, before I declare and proclaim my nationality years ago, I stood on the fact that this ain't binding contract.
And what happened?
They set you free. It all depends on your energy and what the hell they want to do that day.
Well,
And how they feel about you.
how are they able to hold you so long?
Because they're bandits, outlaws, and terrorists. And what they want to do technically right now is wait for they're going to back up against the wall, wait for the peace treaty, the peace officers to come in here and remove them. They have a last stance. They don't have an option. And just like how we would, what's the word I'm looking for? In the 1600s, when they would come on our seas, we would detain them and and they would have to offer ransom to get them back. We're doing the same thing to Moors. They're offering ransom to get people to release them. But at the same time, you shutting them down with the UCCs. It's just a matter of time before they have to just stop. But keep in mind, we've only started real active demonstration a year ago, and we've been banging them very hard that whole time. Bang them. They don't have a choice but to concede. But at the same time, many Albions are very, very violent. So they ain't really keeping this facade up for y'all. Really, it's for them. Because when they find out they have nothing, they're finding out it now. That's why they be jumping on my feed mad.
Well, they doing something to me
They mad.
on Facebook.
But they mad at us. They ain't mad at us. They mad at their ancestors. They did this to them. They had a status and standing in commerce, and they destroyed it. So they ain't mad at us. They just mad we found out.
They mad at themselves.
So when you say they had a status in commerce, so what you're saying right now is they sold themselves out for that because of this fake government.
Yeah, because of the fiat system that they put up there, because of the Brandon system, because the Dred Scott case, as well as the William Dungy case, that you can never be a part of their union. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship says that. Article 13, 20 sections, Amendment 13, 20 sections say Africans can never be a part of that. You're not supposed to be in that union. You have your own government.
Right.
You're supposed to be participating in that. And the only way you can be in theirs is as a ward. Because they even dissolved theirs.
Got it.
Your property. How you feel about it?
I'm not property.
No, you're not, because you declare and proclaim.
I wasn't property before I declared it too.
Technically, you was.
No, I
They just
was.
didn't bother you. It's like you know what I want. You know what I want you to do. I'm good. You good. Till you stop. Yeah, they're gonna take the house. They're gonna take the car. They're gonna take everything, and then you're gonna be out on the streets.
I don't even worry about it.
I know. K. A contract must not be vague, unclear, uncertain, nor can it contain terms or conditions that are unattainable. That's self-explanatory? A contract must show valid signatures of the parties to the contract instrument in order for it to verify its validity in law. They keep messing with that. So what they're saying to this is that for a contract to be binding, two parties had to agree, and they have to be natural beings. They can't be corporate fictions. Right? So that's why they're never going to produce the contract, because it doesn't meet contract law.
Got it.
Never going to do it.
Got it.
They're going to acquiesce.
So how about for example, a mortgage?
Yes, they're never going to answer to the writ of discovery. But they're going to act like, oh, we got this, but we don't understand what you're asking. That's not an answer.
Most discovery they never answer to.
Most they don't answer, but sometimes, through their whole little system, they'll send a blanket rebuttal, which will be, I need a couple more days to get the information that you submitted, but can you please restate your request was broad and ambiguous. But that's not an answer, so you don't have to do that, because they have to answer you point for point by the time you specify as a sovereign.
Day never comes, right?
Day never comes. Note, if a contract fails to satisfy the laws that govern its making or construction, then any such contract is void ab initio from the beginning and is considered dead in the view of the law. Which is why they created that fraudulent system, and they'll sit here and put all these unlawful documents in the claim for you to sit here and put it in, but yet they don't answer to it. They don't even validate it. And they supposed to. When you put a claim in, if you put a claim in, to that so-called county, and it doesn't meet contract law, they supposed to reject it. Dismiss it. Because as soon as you look at the so-called contract, ain't nobody signing it. Got a stamp from corporation. Just a stamp. Anybody can get a stamp. No seal. No wet ink signature. No natural being. And we got to realize real estate, the whole real estate industry is a hypothecation all in and of itself. Because you never needed that third party interloper to do anything. As Moorish American nationals, you claim what has not been claimed by another Moor. Because nobody else has a claim. Why can't nobody else have a claim? Because all these people are aliens on our land. Aliens. That's Albions, and that's every other person from every other nation. That's including Liberians, all of them. They ain't got no claim. That's why they sitting here like, Sharon, stop making videos. You're waking too many people up. If I'm going to be uncomfortable, your ass going to be.
You said that right.
And I ain't uncomfortable.
Question.
But you still going to be.
Now, what are you guys doing to educate people about
To inform them?
the fiction of the Native American Indians?
Well, etymology will do that if you read the definition of it. What's a native? Definition of a native.
From that actual location?
It's somebody born there.
We're going to look it up.
Thank you. What's the definition of an Indian? Where are Indians from?
India.
Corporate.
Send them back to India.
India, Hindustani. And Trump said, if you claim to be an Indian, you on the wrong landmass.
He said that?
Yes, he did. Let me try to tell y'all. And if you claim to be a United States citizen, you a damn terrorist. He all but said that.
Yes, he did.
He all but said that.
He
He
committed a
trying
crime.
to tell you that y'all 14th Amendment people who think
Yes.
y'all U.S. citizens,
Yes.
yeah, you better get your damn nationality.
Right.
And now
He telling the people what we're telling them to tell them.
If you voted for me as the President of the United States of America, you committed a crime against the Republic. That's what he said. That's what he tweeted.
Punishable. Treason.
One native.
Born against the state.
Is he
All
not
right,
committing
Bree has
treason
made it.
Which is the
himself?
sovereign, huh?
Is he not committing treason himself?
How?
Holding the office of president.
Is he a president of any office? What office is he a
CEO.
president?
The one that they created.
Which is?
United States
Corporation. He's the president of a corporation acting for the masses who are been so dumbed down. They think they Americans and they think that this land mass is the United States and it's a country. He's doing that while everybody's like in a pot boiling like frogs. He's sitting there trying to tell you get the fuck out the pot. That's what he's trying to do. But he can't just say, I'm doing what the Moors tell me to do. I'm a nationalist. Who the hell's a national? Well, only a Moor is. So he's saying, I'm rock for this nation because I want somewhere to stay. I ain't thinking about all. Albions are not together the way you might think that they are. Because you got Poland, German, Irish, Dutch, Scott, French, and they all fighting each other.
And in the 17th century, they've been fighting each other.
Oh, they still
They
are.
had treaties, they still, well, World War I, World War II, they still fighting each other.
White on white crime.
I don't know about white.
Hell, ain't white.
Albion.
Hey, you know what I'm
Hell no. We don't give titles of nobility to aliens. We're gonna tell you. So can an alien have a claim on anything in Morocco? At Morocco?
No, absolutely not.
So when you go down there, like I tell you, with your little shopping cart and just look at the buildings and see which ones you want, have fun.
I couldn't get my grits done.
Get your grid done.
Oh, I know.
Because then it's going to be more and more. Oh, I got that one first. No, you didn't. My date is on this date. Then I'll be sitting there like, yep, you got it first. You shouldn't have been sleeping the past 2 years. Golly. Y'all better go out there and have fun, because guess what? You are the government. The government works for you, the people. And guess what? The people are supposed to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Maintaining our commerce. So it behooves you to claim a whole area, because whoever don't enforce your contract, whoever doesn't adhere to what you say, then you're gonna bring them to the judiciary. And if they ain't got no standing, bye Lucy. Becky, bring your butt to the boat. Come on, have fun. That's why they mad. They pissed, but they ain't mad at y'all. So don't accept that. You ain't mad at me, you mad at your mom. Just like I gotta be mad at my mom for this whole time me busting my butt in servitude and subjugation when I'm sitting here the wealthiest person on the land and begging people, or the lack of a people, in a standing in status for something, and as soon as you sign a damn document, they go and rob you and give you nothing, and then take it away 5 minutes later with the bills that they're not supposed to be doing. So send them the bills.
She got native bit.
You got native? What does native mean?
A natural born subject or citizen.
Damn, it said a natural born subject or citizen. Damn, that means just because you were born here don't mean you're sovereign. You're a natural born subject.
Okay.
Damn, they said it to your face.
Do not.
You were born a subject.
Keep in mind, all these books is ours. They started hypothecating after a certain point.
One who owes his domicile or citizenship to the fact of his birth within the country referred to. The term may also include one born abroad if his parents were then citizens of the country and not permanently residing in foreign parts.
It's long.
Not a good look.
Not a good look. What you read?
They mentioned denizen in there, so denizen, when you look that up,
Who's Denison?
That's the term
That's
they
the term
use
that
in England.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
They use that in England a lot.
that was one of the terms they used. So when you look that up, is in English law a person who, being an alien born, has obtained
Domination?
letters patent to make him an English subject. Okay. So you're being subjected to some foreigners, okay? You're calling yourself an American or native.
Why do you think they sit here and you know, keep in mind the Native Indian nom de guerre they established so you would keep tripping over your face and not being still in your right status. So remember back in the day you had the cowboy and Indian movies? Yeah. As well as the movie Roots.
Yep.
All these things was created and established so you would think that you came from somebody else and that you did not originate here. But if you look at all the ancient relics as well as archaeology, it all points to, yeah, baby, you ain't leave. You've been here. Because contrary to popular belief, they ain't finding no ancient mummies that look like Albions.
They sure enough.
And if they find them, guess where they gonna be? Hey! Hey!
Check out this part. It says, a denizen is in a kind of middle state between an alien and a natural-born subject, and partakes of the status of both of these.
So they assume the status of the country for which they domicile, because they don't have a status outside of themselves in any place.
Right.
So if they want to claim anything anywhere, guess where they gotta go?
Europe.
That's where they gotta go. They can sit here and try to claim things there, but they can't claim things here because they're alien to this place. And if they don't have no standing and status and no more sanction them with any rental deeds or contracts, who owns the land, which they would never do. It's just a matter of time before we relocate you. So do it yourself so we don't gotta waste the time. Seriously. You had a good ride. Just be happy with that ride and ride on out. For real. So when we talk about contract law, what we say? For a contract to be binding, all these elements have to be established. So do you have a contract that they can hold you to?
No.
How come?
You can't produce it.
You can't produce it. It's not binding. It was under threat of coercion. You was a minor when you signed it. It was only one signature, and it wasn't even a signature. Mutual acceptance, substantive offer, contains details to an agreement, legal consideration, can't be vague, can't be unclear, valid signatures of both parties. And you gotta have a copy of the damn contract.
Void ab initio.
Void ab initio.
And
So
you
do
also
we-
said earlier, you gotta actually have something tangible. Where's the gold? Where's the silver?
Yeah, where did you give me anything?
Nope.
So, can you be held to any contract, like a driver's license?
No.
Are you held to that?
No.
Is it a contract?
No.
Are you held to the so-called birth certificate?
No.
Is it a contract?
No.
Are you held to the birth? You're right. Are you held to the social security number?
No.
Is it a contract? Are you held to
It's a
the
tacit
mortgage agreement or the promissory note?
No.
Is it a contract? Why? Because it doesn't meet this, right?
Yeah, the contract law.
So, do we have to cancel contracts that don't even exist in law?
You shouldn't have to.
Damn it. Do we have a problem here? I think we have a solution to a problem we had prior to nationality. What time is it? It's for who?
3:56.
Ooh, because we're stopping at 4.
Yeah, people were saying that they couldn't really hear him. I probably hear him.
They problem, really? Do I have it on void?
It could be Facebook.
Facebook be tripping.
Yeah.
Facebook it has no sound. Yeah.
The whole
Facebook
time?
hating on you. It has no
The
sound.
whole time.
It probably not the whole time. Probably when we started talking about real stuff, and they started blocking us out.
Do that around that time.
Yeah, when they started.
But is there another something else you can use besides Facebook to do this?
She's banging that ass and talking about that's right.
That is so funny. How y'all wasn't hearing nothing. That's so funny.
Wow.
I'll tell you, they know what else.
Banging that ass and
Yeah. Are you serious? Facebook hating. Wow. Does anyone else have
No, they ain't.
I'm trying to think about what she was saying.
Oh man, I was wondering. That's crazy.
I didn't mean to say that. I was thinking something.
crazy. See y'all here now? Wow.
They missed a lot.
That was a good class. Wow. Y'all gonna make me do it again? Damn.
Yeah, do it again.
I gotta do it again? Damn. Damn.
Do it Wednesday. Do it tomorrow. Shit.
Well, never have to do backup. This is the first time that happened. And the first time I used the tablet, but I used the tablet all week at the park. All week. So I guess I gotta do it after I run again. Ah! That's so crazy, y'all. So crazy. No sound. Wow. Y'all ain't hear something. That's a shame.
I don't know if
I checked this.
And they asked me to get request them to give me another. The thing is, I have another pen that I never activated. I'm going to try to use that to see what happens.
Ain't no juice today.
That's what I told